Lessons for your kids. I've been teaching my kids this one thing from day one. Critical thinking skills. What are critical thinking skills? It's teaching my kids how to think. I'm going to quote Jordan Peterson on this one. I read this morning, actually. He said,
"Look, kids, follow the rules, but don't follow stupid rules." Who decides if they're stupid? Well, that's a hard question because most of the time you should follow the rules. But now and then the rules get pathological and you have to stand up. He said, if you're going to stand up and break a rule, think about it, and you have to be willing to take the consequences.
Now, the question remains, how do you know the difference between a stupid rule and a rule that you should follow? In my opinion, that comes down to critical thinking skills. How do you think?
Critical thinking is all about asking questions. The right questions. Questions that help you assess both the meaning and the significance of claims and arguments. Building these skills and applying them in your life makes it easier for you to assess evidence, evaluate arguments, and adapt your thinking so you stay switched on and engaged in different situations. Critical thinking involves stepping back from a situation to enable you to see all the angles before making judgments or taking decisions. It means identifying the key points, analyzing the sources of information, weighing up different types of evidence.
Critical thinking is learning how to formulate an argument in your head so that you can come to a logical conclusion. Not an emotional conclusion, a logical conclusion. That is the one that's vital. Today's day and age, way too many people are emotional. They make emotional decisions. This is not good for any society. Critical thinking have been kept out of schools. I never learned critical thinking growing up until I actually went to college, and that's a shame. Here's an example of critical thinking applied to a child. My two daughters at age 5 and 6 asked me a question. Daddy, how does Santa Claus get in the house? Because here in Dubai, we don't have any chimneys. My brain just went, okay, what do I say? I made a vow to myself a long time ago. I will not lie to my daughters unless it's to their benefit. So I started pondering immediately. My elder at that time, 6, she says, does he come through the window? Because that would scare me, Daddy, if he breaks in the house through the window. Now, seeing the fear in her eye, I just said, you know what, no, he doesn't. Because I said, it's just mommy and daddy buying you gifts. My 5-year-old goes, I knew it! Because everything I tell mommy that I want, I get. Logic, critical thinking. These immediately kicked in. And you know what helped this? Because at the age where they were capable of reading, I bought them a set of critical thinking, what do they call those, flip cards. You know those cards where you have the question on one side and then the answer on the other? And it taught them critical thinking from that perspective. Those critical thinking cards taught them the difference between an emotional answer and a logical answer, and how to identify the two from a very early age. And I would encourage you all, if you have kids, find them a bunch of critical thinking cards. It will help keep them out of trouble, men and women. Subscribe and let me know how you teach your kids critical thinking skills.